friends, and welcome back to the Manifestation Destination. My name's Alyssa Marie. If you're new, I am so glad to meet you, and if you're returning, as always, I am so glad to have you guys back. If you guys have been following my channel so far this year, you guys would know that I have been documenting monthly recaps every month. So I wanted to pop on here and give you a little bit of a sneak peek into my March. Thankfully, compared to last March, it's looking a lot different as far as the COVID situation goes. I can thankfully say that with 1 year of COVID behind us, this March has looked so much better, so much brighter, and there's a lot more hope than what last March had for us. So on that note, in regards to March health-wise for my family and I have to proudly say that my grandparents have had their second COVID vaccination this month, which is really great, really exciting, and very relieving to know that hopefully in a couple more weeks they will have pretty good immunity and will not easily contract COVID-19. One bummer that my mom and I have is the fact that we had scheduled COVID vaccinations on April 2nd, and unfortunately we were not able to really get those done due to an issue in scheduling. So thankfully my dad ended up getting his first vaccine today, so super excited for him. But my mom and I have to wait until a couple more weeks in order to get ours. But don't fear, you guys will definitely be getting an update when I am vaccinated. In March, Brandon and I did have our second date, which was super nice, super chill, super relaxed. I ended up going to his house and we watched a Star Wars movie. I don't think it was the first original movie, but I think it was like the first, I don't know the title, but it was fun, it was relaxed. We just hung out, watched the movie, and enjoyed each other's company. In March, we're about 2 months away of having interacted with each other for about a year, so it's increasingly becoming closer to a 1-year status of whatever you want to call it at this point. Prior to the date ending in March, I very loosely set up plans to kind of celebrate his graduation in May. Whether or not that actually pans out, I don't know yet. It all depends on his schedule, and we didn't really put anything concrete behind it, but I would love to be able to take him out to grab dinner, whatever he would like, in order just to kind of celebrate and be part of that special moment with him. So we'll see how that goes. I was gonna try to not cry during this video, but obviously I can't help it. Yet again, it's authentic me coming forth and unfortunately right now I am very emotional over all the things, and this next topic kind of triggered the emotion this time. So bear with me, we'll get through it. So in March, I have become increasingly aware of the need to get myself good before I can even really enter into a relationship. And I guess the unhealthy version of me takes many forms, but to kind of keep it non-specific and to keep it as kosher as possible, I've realized that I have a lot of work to do in order to get myself healthy and ready to become an active team player in a relationship role. So March, in terms of the love life, has definitely highlighted, put a spotlight on the need for me to get healthy. And I would like to say that March was groundbreaking in those terms, in trying to get better for myself, get better for a relationship, what have you, but March just didn't really foster a whole lot of time for me to sit down with thoughts and emotions in the moment and to work through them on my own. So unfortunately, March wasn't very productive in that way. March did present to me what I need to work on and how I need to fix myself and love myself a little bit more before I can really enter into a healthy and strong relationship. Let's just say already in April, because I am filming on April 2nd, already in April, I have been triggered a lot in the relationship realm, and none of it's Brandon's fault. It's 100% my fault. It's 100% my fault because unfortunately, I've developed very bad habits and bad belief systems over the short period of my life, but they still exist no matter what. Unfortunately, on my end, I've realized that I have a lot of work to do in order to, I guess, show up as the best version of me. So that was March's love life. And I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop about what I'm going to do to try to heal. And maybe even go a little bit more in depth of my issues. And yet again, trying to be as transparent with you guys because I want my channel to be, I guess, an example or a representation of what it's like to get yourself together. Like, anyway, so I'm ranting. There will probably be more on that subject later down the road. I'm not going to get into specifics here because honestly, I don't really want to, and it's just not fun to talk about right now. And to be honest, I want to keep my mascara good because while I'm filming this video, I have several videos to film after this. So we're trying to be good. Let's move on to probably the biggest portion of March that kept me the busiest. To sum up March in terms of the business, the only word that can come to mind would be crazy, and that would be spelled in all caps with multiple exclamation points. In fact, I have it right on my cheat sheet over there. Literally all caps, 3 exclamation points. The crazy could stand for a number of things. It was crazy busy, crazy successful, crazy financially successful, crazy tiring, crazy eventful. The list could go on. Basically, the common thread is that March, business-wise, was crazy. Hence, because of how crazy the business actually was, I hardly posted any videos in March, which makes me incredibly sad because I had actually scheduled 8 videos last month for you guys. And to be completely honest with you, I don't even know how many I actually posted, which makes me sad because I felt like I let myself down because I had goals for last month. I knew what I wanted to film, I knew what I wanted to accomplish, but because of circumstances, I wasn't able to get to half of the things on my list. But let's go back and talk about the business in March a little bit more in depth. So at the beginning of the month, I would definitely say that there was a certain vibe within the shop. And overall, the vibe was just of burnout, it was employees not having fun, it was employees not having really good availability, employees missing things while closing or like cleaning up. So there was definitely undercurrents of unhappiness, burnout, just employees being restless. And I think for the majority of March, that vibe kind of carried out all throughout the month. And I think the vibe overall kind of helped my mom and I grow in unexpected ways this month because we weren't really planning on having this vibe or this tone within the shop at all this month. We thought that it was going to carry on as normal because during the winter everything was golden, but as soon as spring hit, things started changing. So fortunately, looking back on the month, the vibes definitely set the tone and the need for growth and improvement on our end. So let's get into that a little bit. Part of the crazy busy within the shop was definitely a direct correlation with how severely understaffed we were. And when I say severely understaffed, to give a perfect example of that would be us only having 2 employees on a Saturday. And typically during the winter months that would work out perfectly fine. However, if you live in Ohio or you know of Ohio's weather or just happen to be crazy observant in regards to Ohio for whatever reason, you would definitely pick up on the fact that we've had some pretty warm days already, and it hasn't even really peaked as far as temperature wise. So one Saturday, perfect example, it was like a 60 or 70 degree day, and pretty much from opening to about 2 p.m. it was just my mom, my dad, and I trying to handle the lunchtime rush at the business while trying to please customers when we already had, like, I wouldn't say an extensive line, but there was definitely a little bit of a backup. So to kind of give you like a speeded up version of that day, we had only gained 2 additional sets of hands, and it was a long day. To be perfectly honest with you guys, as always, the line was backed around the building, like curving the building for a good portion of the day, and it was crazy exhausting. Sorry if the angle changed, I got interrupted and we are starting back again now. So we were severely understaffed, mostly because of our employees' availability this month. It's spring, semesters are coming to an end. We have at least 7 seniors that are going to be graduating in May, so things are really ramping up for them. And unfortunately, we were genuinely understaffed due to several employees leaving around the winter months that we had yet to replace. So basically, it was chaotic, to kind of say it nicely. One thing that I tried to do, being on the advertisement side of things, was not let up in regards to advertising that we were hiring, and that was one thing, that was one campaign, I should say, that I did not give up on the entire month of March. There were at least 3 posts that I can think of in terms of trying to get recruitments to come and apply and interview with us. And honestly, it was at first very disappointing. At first, it was very disappointing in the fact that we did not really get that many applicants interested in applying to our place for a majority of the month, even though I was pushing advertising for hiring. So keeping in mind the fact that we're understaffed, that there's already a vibe going around the shop that's not entirely pleasant or welcoming to be at the shop, and then add on our kids' availability. Our business operates on a very flexible schedule. So it is something that my mom and I, probably mostly my mom, has prided herself in going above and beyond with trying to be flexible and meeting people where they're at. So naturally, our flexibility has definitely paid off in the long run, because thankfully for us, as pretty much a rule, our staff does not have a high turnover rate. In fact, we have 2 employees still currently hired that have been there since the very beginning and the very opening of DJ's, which I cannot attribute to attribute it to anything else but being incredibly flexible with our staff and willing to work with them. And of course, because we have majority of high school students and college students employed, naturally they love our flexibility because it allows them to work with their schedules. It allows them to work around tests or exams or other extracurriculars that they would like to do. And up until March, I would say that it's something that we've taken pride in, knowing that we are trying to encourage and support our kids and our staff, and trying to get better well-rounded for themselves outside of the shop and to just improve themselves. So yet again, up until March, this past March, the flexibility thing had been working out for us. However, there's always a caveat at some point. And unfortunately for us, that caveat came in the form of kids, staff members not really stepping up to meet the needs of the business or to step up and meet our expectations of them. With that being said, of course, there are several staff members that go above and beyond our expectations and the need for the business. Some of these staff members have taken extra shifts. They've worked longer than necessary. They'll cover shifts of people that have had to cancel. And honestly, some of these people just do an incredible job every single time that they're in our facility, and it shows. And being the person that my mom is, incredibly generous and kind, she definitely has made it a point to not allow these gestures, behaviors, mindsets to go unrewarded. And the staff members who have gone above and beyond have been rewarded for the behavior. And we definitely show our appreciation for that behavior, because yet again, at the end of the day, my family can only do so much to ensure the quality of DJs. And unfortunately, like any group, there are staff members that don't go above and beyond, and at this point are struggling to meet the expectations of the business, and I won't say failing, but there are definitely concerns in regards to some staff members not being open and willing to meet the expectations or to meet the commitment that they've made when entering in the partnership of employment commitment. And by saying these things, it's definitely a double-edged sword, because on one hand, a person could say that our staff members are lazy, that they're not wanting to work, that they're entitled, but honestly, those descriptors would not be accurate and would not be true. DJs being DJs, we don't think of anyone in those terms. We just like to focus on what can be improved, and we try to give people ample opportunity to make those improvements for both themselves and to better the business. So taking the staff members out of the equation, knowing that DJs has been severely understaffed this past March, unfortunately, my parents and I have had to step up to fill several gaps that have been left in the lack of availability and employees not meeting or exceeding those expectations. In order to fill some of these gaps, my mom and I, particularly 1 week in March, had to pretty much open up the shop every single day, which isn't the end of the world. It's having to get up earlier than I would like, but there are worse things that could be done. Not only have we been responsible for opening up the shop a lot in March, we've also been pretty much corralled into working several hours, if not the entire day, at DJs on several occasions in March. And in addition to opening, we've also been responsible for helping close because there are only 1 or 2 extra sets of hands that are able to close the business at a given time. There's been a lot of time and sweat and tears and blood having gone into DJs from my family alone this past March due to being understaffed. And then taking into consideration having been on the floor, opening, working, and closing, there are still administrative tasks that my mom and I have to manage, such as writing checks and paying bills that are required from the business. I've still had to meet my expectations or my responsibilities and duties in regarding the social media aspect of the business and trying to keep up with any questions that customers may have and trying to stay on top of different advertisements that I've made, and still doing other things such as carving out time to meet with a couple applicants and interview them. Of course, because we're in a restaurant facility, naturally we have to take time to order more products or DJs won't have anything to sell. So because of being understaffed, having to fill the gaps, it's left for an incredibly exhausting environment for the Jones family in March. However, yet again, like with everything, when there's pain, there's always opportunity for growth. And this past month has been nothing but lessons in terms of how we want to manage the building and how we want to manage the business. I can say the first lesson that I've personally learned is that I am starting to get more in tune with my leadership style. And I have to say that if March hadn't been the way that it was, I probably would not be growing in that aspect currently. To be a little bit more specific in my style, I've learned over the last 31 days that I'm the type of leader that has extremely high expectations, and I could definitely be labeled the hard butt because I have very high expectations. To balance that out, I am definitely the person that also gives high praise, but the person has to earn it. The person has to meet and exceed those expectations on a regular basis before I can feel like I can acknowledge the progress and the work that I've seen. I've learned that my mom and I definitely have a yin-yang relationship when it comes to the business and operating. She is much more, I won't say stable, but she definitely takes time. And one thing that I've seen very clearly this month is how good she's at, like how good she is at waiting people out and giving people opportunities and being patient. I'm much more impulsive and reactive. I want something solved now, and I'm not so willing to wait around to see the improvement. I want the improvement now. There's that. She just has a much more gentle way of dealing with people. Yet again, I am still very much fine-tuning my skills and trying to develop a style that gets my voice out there, as well as being diplomatic and getting the job done as well. She is more of the softer approach, and right now I'm kind of the thunderstorm, but we're getting there, we're working on things, and yet again, I am still growing as a leader myself. Having taken time writing the script for this video, I can definitely say I had a moment of reflection where 100% just knowing that the rough patch my family and I experienced this past month is solely due to God, the universe, whatever you choose to believe in, or if you don't believe, just coincidence or luck has been guiding us to this rough patch in order to better develop boundaries that we have for ourselves and for our business. For so long, my mom and my family have been so giving and generous and almost indulgent when it comes to rewards and praise and flexibility in regards to expectations for staff. I would be lying if I said that we don't enjoy doing that, because knowing that we can reward our staff and knowing that we have the financial capability of giving a person a little extra money for good behavior is such a good and rewarding feeling for us. But unfortunately, we've come to the realization that because we've been so generous for so long without having as high of expectations, I think it's fair to say that people have started to take advantage of our flexibility and our generosity. And up until this point, everything was pretty much kosher. And to put into perspective, honestly, the reciprocity between giving and taking was equal between, I guess, administration and the staff. And as of late, it hasn't been equal. While yet again writing this script, it became very apparent to me that this rough patch was sent to us in order for us to become very clear about what we will and will not accept in regards to our business and how staff treat us. Because this month has been very rough in getting my personal needs met and my need for rest and relaxation, I've definitely had the self-confidence boost and the thought of, why are other people's needs more important than mine? And for the first time, I think I've finally answered that question on my own by saying that they're not. At the end of the day, everyone's needs are important, and at some point you have to stand up for your own needs and your own self. And of course, I go and say that. But of course, like all things, there's always a double-edged sword by saying that my family sacrificed a lot this month and we've stepped up and we've filled the gaps. But yet again, I hope that you, the audience, realize that at the end of the day, I know that it is my and my family's responsibility to make sure that that business is run and run well and successfully, because we've made that commitment, we've started that process, and at the end of the day, it's ours, and the business will succeed if we make it succeed. So keeping that in mind, I'm not saying that it's solely the responsibility of our employees. I am well aware that at the end of the day, the business success is on us. And because of all of these thoughts and some of the lessons that we've experienced in March, it's definitely made us more firm about the type of person that we want in the shop, running the shop. And I personally hate this terminology because it can be so extremely negative, but in essence, we're cleaning house, and we are sitting down with every employee, asking them if they want to work at DJ's. Not if they need to work at DJ's, but if they want to work at DJ's. Because yet again, there's a difference between need and want. In essence, it's basically us giving employees that no longer want to be at DJ's and out to get out if they so choose. This out goes for people who have worked for us for more than a year. No one's exempt from this out, or at least this sit-down conversation, because yet again, people need to start proving to us that they want to be at the shop and that they want this job. And of course, if staff members do decide to leave, we're not leaving on negative terms. We are not sending them hate or disregard on their venture out into the world, but we just realize that we are separating paths, and that sometimes in life we hit these crossroads because the journey has ended and it's time to start a new path. And yet again, we're cleaning house because we're tired of the feeling we have in the shop. People aren't happy, people aren't buzzing, people aren't enjoying each other like they were. It doesn't make us, the administration, feel good being there either. Overall, I'd say that we're just tired of having and experiencing bad attitudes all the time, and resistant attitudes, and attitudes of disregard or nonchalance. And possibly the most important lesson that I've learned in all of this, what I can actually bring to the table when I am under immense amount of stress and discomfort, and knowing that I'm under said pressure and still be able, willing, and have enough in me, enough fight in me to continue showing up and to continue showing up well for myself and for the business, which yet again, huge confidence boost. It's very satisfying knowing that I can show up for myself when I need to. Right now, because I've been with the business so much this month, I'm starting to learn things almost effortlessly, which is nothing but a blessing, which we'll get there in a minute. Honestly, because of the hard work that I have put in March, people are starting to take note of my leadership within the business, and they're starting to give a little bit of respect because I'm on the floor more. I'm making important calls. I'm setting an example for staff and new members. It's been very liberating knowing that my hard work has already paid off even just a little bit. So let's get into the blessings of all of this. Just in comparing March of 2020 and March 2021, this year's March, we have almost exceeded last March's sales by about $11,000. And that is absolutely crazy because yet again, we are not even close to summer just yet. And that's such incredible growth because that means people are still discovering us. We're still popular in the community's eye, and we're gaining new popularity, new followers almost on a daily basis as of late. Going into the customer base, being on the floor more and being, I guess, in the foresight of customers has definitely given me a side of the business that I have yet to see. And to be honest, it's been wonderful because every single time that I've taken an order, I have gotten nothing but positive feedback from our customers. And it's so nice because it truly feels like the hard work that we've been putting into the business, that I've put into March, has truly paid off in the type of supportive customers we've gotten so far. Like with everything, there were a couple of grump butts in March that we've served. However, the overall picture has been nothing but positive. That to me is so incredibly exciting. It's been fun to serve those customers. It's that positive loop of happy customer, happy employee, and it just keeps going around, and like it's that feedback of just being happy to serve for like the first time ever. And yet again, in considering how supportive our customers are while we've been so short-staffed. Naturally, because we've been short-staffed, our wait times are even longer for food and ice cream. Knowing that customers sat in line and waited and did not complain once to us about how long it took, the product that they received, there were no complaints. And that is nothing but a blessing. And probably the most exciting blessing on our side of the business in March is that we have gotten 4 incredible and strong applicants hired for our summer season, and our hard work has paid off. We've shown up for ourselves and for the business every single day, and we are being rewarded, whether it be just coincidence or if you do believe in a higher power, we are being rewarded, and it is so exciting. So let's go into YouTube for March. Naturally, because of how busy it was, I wasn't able to produce as nearly as many videos as I wanted to for March, which is incredibly disappointing. And because I haven't really posted a whole lot of videos, there hasn't been much growth. In fact, I think I'm still at the same 17 followers that I came into March with, which, yet again, I'm so happy that you guys are sticking around, definitely not complaining. I had hoped that I would have been able to grow a little bit more, and knowing that another month has gone by where I haven't grown is very disappointing, somewhat disheartening. I think the biggest part of why I'm disappointed in that is the fact of I was hoping to be able to have given myself more time and to have put myself first a little bit more last month than what I was actually able to do. And it makes me sad that yet again, I feel like I have to put my hopes and dreams or my desires on hold in order to balance out another aspect of my life and my family's life. But yet again, it's all part of the process of living. It's all about that give and take, as we've learned at the shop this past month. But yet again, I'm still disappointed. But at the end of the day, I know that I am not planning on giving up this dream of becoming a star. Not that I really want to become a star, but financially I would love to benefit from doing this hobby, if you catch my drift. But I know that at the end of the day, if I keep showing up for myself, for my channel, and improving my skills and just posting more videos, I know that one day the payoff will be there. And yet again, I've proven that fact to myself just in regards to the business. We've shown up every single day, and as a result, there were definitely some benefits that were reaped. I know that as long as I continue my channel, growth will come. It might not happen as quickly as I would like, or even necessarily in the means that I would like, but growth will come. And with all of that being said, for those who have watched my videos religiously and who have always managed to at least watch a portion of my videos, I definitely and genuinely thank you guys, because you guys have definitely helped get my channel to where it is now. Even though we are very small in community status, we still exist, and it is extremely gratifying and exciting to know that even though I've done this for a couple months, I only have 17 subscribers at this point. It's exciting to know that I have my own platform on the internet, and I can speak about whatever I want. And yet again, it's just exciting to know that I'm making a dream that I've had come true, and it's just very exciting for me. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Definitely stay tuned for all the things. And of course, being who I am, definitely know that my channel will be evolving. I definitely have some secrets up my sleeve for the year 2022, so stay posted. Probably one of my favorite parts with a month closing is the fact that I have, at least as of late, taken time to sit down and plan out the new month coming up. With that being said, I have already started planning out April. I have an entire list of videos that I want to at least film for you guys. I'm hoping to get up more videos this month. They're definitely planned, they just have to be executed. And I also have personal goals set up So aside from my overall list of manifestations, I've set up individual goals that I would like to see myself accomplish within this upcoming month. So can't say that I've stuck to them already, but we're working on it. And honestly, we will just go with the flow and see what happens this month in April. So just as kind of a recap of my March recap, overall March was very eventful, very busy, overall very stressful. But putting into perspective all of the things that I've gained and learned and successfully navigated, I can say that it has been so rewarding. Honestly, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm hustling and I'm not completely mad about it. Like, I, for the first time, am starting to feel like a girl boss, and, or should I say woman boss, and I am excited because I know that I can show up. Yet again, I feel that I'm finally starting to feel some of the payoff of the hard work that I've put in over the last couple of months. So I am definitely happy to say that March overall was very successful for the business and for my family and I. I am looking forward to what April brings, and yet again, I can't wait to start using and I guess just enjoying the blessings that we've reaped in March to carry over until April. So I hope your guys' March was just as fantastic as mine. If it wasn't, I hope that you guys have a better and brighter April, and I implore you guys to definitely keep positive, keep light, and just have fun with things, and you see where life carries you. And until next month, I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to live faithfully, lead courageously, and to love unconditionally. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.